This is the rest of the story, what it took me to get my Cox PT-19 RC flying. I felt that the Reed Valve 049 just wasn't enough power and the plane was tail heavy, so I put a NiCad battery glued to the front of it for nose weight. I spent a good part of one day trying to get a TD 051 and an 049 to run. It just wouldn't continue to suck fuel, so I put in a TD that I knew ran. With more power, it tipped over trying to take off, so I decided to hand launch it. Well, it didn't have enough up and hit the ground, so I put in a little up trim and tried to start it again. Starts up and stops, that took out the glow head. Put in another glow head and gave it a hard launch, and it was swerving all over the sky. I couldn't believe it. The CG was at like the leading edge now, and it was still doing that. At this point, I was really seriously going to give up, but I went for a hike, and then I got this idea, I'm going to put washout in the wing. So I went home and glued in the trailing edge up like this. I also installed a 6.3 wood propeller to replace the 5.3 that I had put on there. This is the RC gear I was using, which is pretty light. I had a 900 milliamp earlier in the day and went back to the 300 milliamp. It's a lithium phosphate battery. So I went to a different field that had some longer grass, and then I realized I didn't have my syringe, so I went back to the original field where I had left it. Though this time I launched it off of a little bit of a hill thinking it had a little farther to fall before it hit the ground. And by golly, it took off after the throw. It was a little wobbly to start, but once up in the air, it actually flew around pretty smooth. The Cox Red tank, it's really not big enough for this engine. It's more for using for free flight, so it only ran for like less than 50 seconds. Also, I was using RedMax 25% in this engine. Well, anyhow, I was happy to get it to fly for one tank full. That was my goal. So the engine was loose again when it came down, so I called that quits. The airplane looked good after the flight, but the motor mount was loose again. I could fix it up, but I don't know, this plane just really doesn't fly all that great. This is a view of the airfoil. It's a semi-symmetrical and it's really thick, but the wing is really heavy. When I got home, I weighed the landing gear, and that weighed 4 ounces. Couldn't believe it.